Well, hello, boys and girls.
Hi.
What a wonderful day it is today in our money-based economy.
Isn't it?
Well, sit back and relax and get ready for the guy who's about to ruin everything.
I'm puzzled. Are you really seriously suggesting that Jesus Christ was a mushroom?
Jesus, old man, yeah.
Jesus was a mushroom Roberts.
Yes. You are dealing with a secret cult, a secret society.
Duh.
Welcome to Waning Interest.
Welcome to the Waning Interest Podcast, hour number, 34? Unlocked Wednesday. The smallest click on the internet, right here. You found it. Smallest click. I'm Wayne Roberts, trying to be the biggest douchebag in California. But I'm failing. See what I did there? It's Unlocked Wednesday, like I said. This is Unlocked Wednesdays go out to everybody, and the Monday and the Friday hours are on Patreon. So if you are new and you like this, go to patreon.com/waning interest. If you want to be a whip, part of the Waning Interest Podcast pack. Did I tell you there's some hashtags for that? Not yet? Oh. Hashtag lowercase the, all caps WIPP, lowercase s. Isn't that clever? No? Okay, fine. Well, it works either way, so clever or not, boom. That was Joe Cruz you heard on the open, and you hear on the front and back of the promos, cruzvo.com. His link should be right there anywhere you are looking in the information. And I don't know why I just went Southern. No clue. All of a sudden, scenes from Django Unchained popped into my head. And I just started talking like that. Like I was a slave. Because I feel like one. Jesus.
I'm so tired of being nice and doing so much for everybody, and I don't do nothing for me.
I don't get no money. Oh, that's right, I don't want any. Sort of. No, I do. I want to fucking pay my bills, but I'm not looking to be anybody rich. Ugh. It's the hoarding. It's the one hoarding they don't fucking make fun of, which they should. It's the biggest one that should be made fun of. But not that one, no. Let's look at the crazies that collect fucking newspapers. And forget the crazies that collect so much fucking money that they don't fucking need. And we all know it's so dirty and pathetic and a joke and really needs to go bye-bye. New system, everybody wants, new system, at least anybody without $1 million. What a fucking joke. I can't believe it's gotten to this point. But we're going to turn it around. I have the faith. You know why? Because, I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet. No, look at the cannabis, look at psychedelics making the comebacks. And this shit, 10 years ago, everybody that's sharing this shit, not everybody, but a lot of people I know that scoffed when I was saying it 10 years ago, up to 5 years ago, all sharing this shit. Hey, everybody, look. Yeah, good, I'm glad. But it kind of hurts. But it's okay. Thanks to the psychedelics, you get over that. Kind of. Some things you just can't get over. You know, like pooping your pants in public. Fuck that shit. Almost did it last night at Comedy Chaos. Whew. Glad I didn't because I was wearing a thong. Right? Right. It wasn't just a thong. It was a codpiece thing. It was really cool. You should have seen it. But no, let's move on. We shouldn't talk about that, right? I've said too much. Anyway, you probably found us here from Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, YouTube, TuneIn, Google Play, Laughable, or Spotify, or any of the other hand-me-downs. Getting free content and putting up ads and, doing their thing. So that's why we have the Patreon. Like I said, Monday, Friday hours on Patreon. And as little as $2 a month, $12 a year. Right? Is that right? 24. And I took business math. Whew. No wonder you're a poor dumbass. $24 a year to be a whip? What the nobody can complain about that. Because you get some serious entertainment. Me making a complete fucking ass out of myself and telling you stories that make you feel better about, I don't know, I'm just making this shit up as I go. But it is fun. Fuck you if anybody says this shit ain't entertaining. And I ain't even drinking. But I get kind of drunk with power when somebody tries to tell me that, I don't really get it, Wayne. What the fuck is there to get? I'm just a babbling lecturer that doesn't know shit, but knows a lot but what he does know, he knows it well. And I'm just babbling it. Wayne, I don't like you telling me what to think. I'm not telling you what to think, you fucking jackball. I'm telling you how to think. And I'm telling you to think. Because you've been trained, like I was too, and I still fall into it here and there. We were trained what to think. So when because we were trained from this fucking system, indoctrinated into really what to think with all the America's the best and this, that, and all this shit's true when we find out it's not. But so when somebody tells you tries to get the truth to you, you're like, oh, this is all wacko. They're trying to tell me what to think. No, those people are trying to, most of them. Of course, there's fucking wackos out there that, snake oil salesmen and shit, but that's because money exists. If money didn't exist and we ran on the tech creating the abundance of the world that we can have so nobody fucking steals from anybody, it was stealing, scamming, there would be no need. Wouldn't it be nice to live in a world where you don't fucking complain about corruption anymore? I know it sounds utopian. It ain't utopian because there's always going to be some problems to fix or whatever, and it's going to take a while to get into a system without any money anyway. And that'll keep you busy making these, people would want to make this rebuild infrastructure that's actually going to last, that's actually made from something that's not built to fucking fall apart in a few years because of bidding and cutting corners and blah, 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 blah. It ain't going to go away until money's gone, and you have to get that through your head. I know it's hard, but otherwise we're just every day spinning around. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, we got this problem. Money? Oh, we got this problem. Money's at the core. Up, this problem. Money's at the core. Up, up, up. Problem. You take care of the core, all those problems fall. Wayne, stop telling me what to think. Oh, sorry. So, $2 a month? How about that for a segue? That's broadcasting. Isn't it? Twitter and Instagram, Wayne Roberts 811. And then, like I said, the hashtags, already put those out. Waning Interest Podcast Pack, the whips, Waning Interest Podcast. Hit them, do them. Let's make them big. Come on, man. Come on. Let's grow this shit. My manager just sneezed. If you go back, you'll be able to hear it real small in the back. I guarantee it. It's a little fun thing to do. So Comedy Chaos last night at the Comedy Store. Sam Tripoli does once or twice a month. He puts up the Comedy Chaos in the main room. Last night, Brendan Shaw, Brian Callen, Jackie Fabulous, Eddie Bravo, Jessime Peluso, Doug Benson, Ali Makovsky did a set at the front, and a couple of people I hadn't met before. I think Frank Castillo might have done one. No, he was up in the belly room, or the original room. And Sam put me up at the end, not totally at the end, second to last, after Doug was done, and threw up three of us, little Padawans, Josh Potter, then me, and then I can't remember the other guy's name because it's a foreign name that I had trouble saying it on stage, but I think I made it funny. Definitely didn't bomb. I got real lucky because the curtain, my foot got caught on the curtain a little bit when I was going to open it, the second curtain right at the stage, and then there's a little step down. So my foot got caught, and then I was trying to catch myself or whatever, and when I landed, it looked like I landed like I just did a little fucking skateboard thing. I was like, boom, almost like I was surfing. So instantly, the goofiness vibe was there, and I didn't mean it. And then Josh had some jokes about people thinking he's gay or something like that, and I just started with, Josh isn't gay, but his blowjobs are A+. And I had him. It was fun. 1 o'clock in the morning on the main stage in the Comedy Store, I was like, wow, there have been some serious fucking names right here. This time in the morning, Sam Kinison, Dice, Brody, on and on. It was kind of weird because I didn't expect that. Because up until the show, I thought I was going to be going up in the front. So I didn't think it was going to be that late or whatever. I thought it was going to be up and done real quick. But no, which was cool. Didn't care. It was fine. But I halfway through my set, well, right before I went on stage, I was like, wait a minute. I don't know if I'm going to, it's past 1 o'clock. Still a good crowd out there, but this is time to take chances. So I'll just do like my first 3 or 4 planned bits. And then I might go veer into exploratory territory, right? Did I say that right? Exploratory territory? Wow. You're a broadcaster, aren't you? Nah. And I went through the whole thing with Jesus was a mushroom thing. And they liked it. Once again, I say Jesus was a magic mushroom on stage and go through a whole list of shit and get laughs, no anger. I say I'm a Red Sox fan since I'm 10. I say we should live in a world without money. It's fucking weird. Wouldn't you think? To you, wouldn't you think about it? Somebody that walks around saying that shit must get a lot of shit for it. No, nobody gives me shit for it. I'm trying to think of one time that a conversation got squirrely because I was really stepping on somebody's beliefs. I cannot recall. There's always a smile because they think it's so ridiculous, like I did when I first heard it. And then I looked it up and went, oh man, there's no turning back. This is so obvious. It's pathetic. It's pathetically obvious. And the world's fucked up. And one of the reasons is money, and one of the other reasons is ego. And so if Jesus was a mushroom, and so Jesus is supposed to take care of your ego and make things better. Oh, and they took the mushrooms away from us so we wouldn't feel that oneness, and that's how they... See what I'm saying? And what did Jesus do right before he got strung up, as the story goes? Flipped over the money changers table because they were ripping people off with the original fractional reserve banking. So the age of Jesus is the age of fractional reserve banking. And thanks to the internet, and thanks to other people's journalists and other so many people that have done homework on this, whether they have a badge or a doctorate or a diploma, any fucking thing, or just somebody like me, just doing their fucking homework and sharing it. This is what I see. Put these dots together. Thanks to so many of those, more and more people are understanding fractional reserve banking. Thank you, Peter Joseph. The Zeitgeist movie helped a lot 12 years ago, 07. A lot of people were like, oh, fuck, that's how money works? Enough of that aside, Let's get more back into... I said back into... So Comedy Cast was great. Well, I gotta tell you though, fucking Dave's Hot Chicken. I think they need to put 3 T's on hot on that fucking label of theirs. Wow. It burned going in. And I'm not afraid to tell you guys that a few hours ago, it burned coming out. And then it burned some more. What the fuck do they put in that sauce, man? I've stopped eating bread. I hardly eat any bread anymore. Don't buy it. If I buy hamburger meat or whatever, I make hamburgers. Just don't do bread. I do it like the Atkins way. But I realized they'd stick these fucking hot, big strips of chicken in hamburger buns. And I remembered, let's eat the bun. Take a few bites of the bread. That's probably to take away some of the heat. Helped a little bit, but wow. But it was good. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. Dave's Hot Chicken, one of the sponsors of Comedy Chaos. And the guys from Absolute Extracts, holy shit. They make people think it's Christmas. They're awesome. Great sponsor. And I'm not sure, but I think both of those might be sponsors for the show Sam and Eddie Bravo and XG in Huntington Beach that I'm supposed to be part of. I don't know if that's still true, but I think my set last night said, yeah, you win, son. Even though at the end, I went up, but I was told before I went up that it was going to be Josh, then me, and then maybe this female comedian. So I'm thinking that's who I'm going to bring up when I'm done. Or, actually, when I went on stage, I didn't realize that I was going to be doing that. I thought it was still going to be Sam, bringing everybody up. So when Josh introduced me right after, as he was done, I was like, oh, shit. And I didn't even I had to run out so fast that I didn't hit record on my phone. But at the end, I was like, wait, who am I bringing up? I was told somebody, who is something happening? What's happening? Nobody's telling me. I'm standing there and going through the whole thing in front of everybody, but I made it funny, I think. I made it interesting because all the folks that came up to me and said, good set, a couple of them actually said the words, I like the vibe. As I asked him, I said, I was a goofy motherfucker. Oh, I like the vibe. And it had jokes. Hey! I was scared shitless that I was going to go. I didn't murder. I didn't kill. I didn't slaughter. I didn't slay. I didn't shred. But I certainly was far from bombing as well. Right in the middle. Just like I like it. Probably in about 2 weeks, I'll remember something and go, oh, God, I sucked. I'm kidding, not 2 weeks. It'll be more like tomorrow. Or later today. But like I mentioned before, cannabis and psychedelics, look at this. Illinois just legalized cannabis, which still, you got to go to the decriminalization. But at least what they did is also expunged over 770,000 cannabis-related cases. Everybody needs to fall in love with the state of Illinois at the moment. Especially if tomorrow they go, oh, we also just legalized psilocybin and psychedelics, like Oakland and Denver. I love you, Illinois. But another great example of so many people freaking out on me for years when I told them it was good for us. What are you talking about? Rick Simpson oil? What are you talking about? Oh my God, you think marijuana can fucking help cure cancer? No, it helps you after your chemo. No, it's both. And if you're already doing the Rick Simpson oil, you'll never, but most likely, if you do a little bit of Rick Simpson oil, and you can make your own. He shows you how to make it. It's not like I'm trying to sell anything or he's like I'm pimping shit for him. I'm pimping it because he's the fucking greatest. He's the coolest. It's total, full-on integrity. The facts are there, and Rick fucking puts up videos showing you how to do it yourself because he's not about making money. He used to give the shit away to cancer patients for free in fucking Canada, and they put him in fucking jail. That's what happens when you do the right thing. You're fucked. Hi, Julian. Hi, Chelsea. I haven't quite figured Snowden out. I don't know if that one's a fucking, a psyop. I don't know. But WikiLeaks has never given us anything wrong. Chelsea's got, well, she had balls. But, talk about fucking courage. Holy shit. She's gone through a lot, man. I can only imagine her mental state. Being known all over the world for this shit and then thrown in jail and be treated that way. And then at the same time, you want to be trans, I guess, is that how you say it? You want to be a woman, and then you go through that, and it's still public, and this whole thing, and then they throw you in again because you won't fucking sing like a bird or lie. I cannot begin to think of her fucking mental state. Lots of courage. Sorry about the nose thing. Ah, damn, I hate doing that. But you got the Rick Simpson oil. Now, you able to make that shit. It's basically, what do you call it? What's the word? Son of a bitch. It's THC. Stop trying to think and it'll pop in there, Waynes. But it's strong to where, either way, the proof is that cannabinoids, however you want to say it, there's a lot of shit in there, and THC makes cancer cells commit suicide. And if you want anything to commit suicide, it's cancer cells. I mean, numerous cases of people are told they have cancer, and they've said, "Fuck this! I ain't doing any of this chemo bullshit and any of this poison that's actually going to weaken my system. I'm just going to go straight to the Rick Simpson oil that I heard about. Boom, cancer's gone. Skin cancer." You name what else inside. There's been a plethora of shit. I used to work with a girl that had both. She had skin cancer that she cured with cannabis, and was it a tumor or something on her? Where was that? I don't know. Somewhere in her abdomen area. One of those parts of the anatomy. Bam. But although with that one, I think it was a little bit of both. She did do a little bit of chemo, but not very much. And just went straight to the cannabis. And this girl, so cool, so funny. She was really dry. She was fun to work with. What a pissa. And then you got the CBD for inflammation, and good for those that don't want to get a hair spacey, if I can say that. But everybody I know, like Jimmy Schubert, I never expected to hear that. Like last night on the patio before the show, talking to my buddy comedian Jimmy Schubert, and he's talking about how he uses the CBD cream on his wrists and his hands because he's getting up there a little bit. Looks good for his age, but getting up there. But the joint stuff and the joints as in the anatomy, not the smokables. Speaking of which, boy, I'd love some. I would just like the smell. Ooh. And when we were in the green room, where the guys from Absolute Extracts, a couple of people came in, a couple of employees of the store, or one employee of the store, one comic, came in and asked them about their cream, their CBD cream. And they went, boop, here you go. It's a beautiful fucking thing. So awesome. But another thing that I used to say, when I was teaching my daughter when she was 7, 8 years old, teaching her about hemp, people freaking out on me. What are you doing teaching a 7-year-old about marijuana? I'm not teaching them about marijuana. I'm teaching them about cannabis, and specifically industrial hemp, which does not get you high and could replace petroleum as one of our major energy sources, renewable. Cleans the air where it's growing, cleans the soil where it's growing, does nothing but good. There is no bad, none, no poisons. Doesn't need pesticides, doesn't need insecticides. God damn it. Hemp should be growing all over the fucking world. If you want to clean it up and you're worried about climate change, hemp is one of the biggest fucking things. And of course, you got to stop turning down the goddamn rainforests and jungles and everywhere else. All these places and, destroying the indigenous more and more. Poisoning. For what? Money to keep corporations' power. What a goddamn joke. We got the robots to do most of the work and make things abundant, but we're still playing this fucking Monopoly game, which makes me want to fucking put a gun in my mouth. And everybody else. Gee, I wonder why suicide's going up. Huh. Because people are figuring it out, and you're like, this is completely fucked. Sounds crazy that, our system needs a flamethrower to it, but I'm talking figuratively. I don't want violence at all. I don't want people... See, my idea is for a countrywide strike, except for people who are caregivers. But the main thing is to set yourself up for a few weeks to see how long it'll go, but you do not spend hardly any fucking money. And you don't go to work. But you also don't gather in the streets, making it so the system and the higher-ups can do the whole thing with paid provocateurs and make you look bad and then a whole bunch of violence. No, just go about your fucking day. Like you're on vacation. You just go to the park, hang out with your fucking family. Do what you're supposed to be fucking doing. I think that's the way to go. And I hope that's the way that we do head towards. I don't want the fucking violence, but either way, the system needs to go. It ain't broken. It's fixed, and it's been fixed since 1913, and then fixed more and more and more as time has gone by, all these 100 years. So, it's gotta go. Because the system is what keeps the cunts in power that keep fucking us every single day. The people that don't have to worry about student loan debt. The people that don't have to worry about health insurance. The people that don't have to worry about losing their homes. Because they have plenty of fucking money. Why? Because they get paid through taxpayer money, and they get fucking Medicare for life. And they get the best. And they get paid for life, too, if I'm not mistaken. Even when they are out of Congress, I believe they still get paid. And they want more they want raises. Fuck you, and fuck you some more. That got a little negative, but it's fucking true. So tired of it. Let's not do anything. We got all these problems, but we have to have a critical mass of people seeing, oh, money is what needs to go if we want to fucking fix all this shit for real and not just put Band-Aids on it. Y'all ready for the Wednesday joke? Ha! Yeah, let's move on. Let's try to get back to the goofy, but I still keep it entertaining, I think. Sitting here rambling for a whole hour. No ads. Notice? No ads. Ha ha. Did you want an ad? Too bad. I pimp the shit that I like already enough and not for perks or anything. So why do I need to have ads? Patreon. I just want the people's power. My people's power. If I do any sponsorships, anything like that in the coming whenever, it'll most likely be cannabis related. Just saying. I'm gonna pimp something. Well, shit, I've already pimped fucking Absolute Extracts. That's what, the fifth time I said it? Fourth time? Anyway, Wednesday joke is where I pull out old jokes from... Pulling out old shit that I wrote, the first batch of stuff that I wrote for the first handful of open mics that I went to back in, 2014, then 2015. And on this one, this is from January 12th. I believe it's from the same list from last week. I'm just hoping I'm not repeating it. I don't think so. Let me actually look what I did last week, which I should have done beforehand. That's part of show prep. But I was like, no, there's no way. There's no way I have done this one before. Because I don't recall, but I do recall, but I don't recall. Because I get confused sometimes. Because years get twisted, And time get... What are you saying? I don't know. I was trying to come up with something, but... Oh, no, last week was the that shitty Mark Wahlberg joke. So this one, this is where I guess you call it my closer, came from this. This is where it started, and it's morphed into what it is today, but this is how it started. And you can tell that it's more wordy, but there's still little beep beeps in there. It's not horrific. Anyway, are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. You ever have a nervous breakdown and videotape it and put it on the internet? Nobody? Good. I don't recommend it. If you'd like to know what it was like to be McMurphy in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, have at it. You know what? Actually, I do recommend it so you can get an inside look at how shitty people are treated in psych wards. Too much too soon? I think so as well. Let's not go so deep just yet. We'll make a U-turn and talk about fist fucking. And that's your Wednesday radio joke. Wait, radio joke? That's not what it is, you fucking nitwit. It's the Wednesday joke. And then there's the Wednesday story. Get it straight, nitwit. Okay. That was the Wednesday joke on the Waning Interest Podcast. Hour number 34. So that has turned into, like I said, my closer, where it's completely different. I think the only thing that's the same is psych ward. But it's a closer that it's probably it's definitely the joke I've used the most. But I do it for a reason, because all the stuff that seems so crazy that I say before, it's a good close because it comes right back, and I'm making it, it's all on me that I'm telling you that I'm nuts. I think it's pretty clever. All just depends on the delivery of the yolks. But it did well last night. I didn't actually plan to do it last night. Like I said, I had this other set ready to go, and then I was like, nah, I'm going to go off a little bit and take some chances here at this one point. And then after that whole Jesus mushroom thing, then the psych ward bit, of course, that works perfectly. I think. And I think it's been proven many times that Jesus mushroom stuff, which is probably the craziest sounding shit that I say, of course, can't get much crazier. And I don't actually, every set, I don't even mention it. I don't talk about it every time. But because it puts those looks on people's faces, like, well, this is something I haven't really heard before. Heard a lot of mushroom stuff, but not Jesus was a mushroom. So that, boom, you come hit him at the end with the psych ward thing and turning it, showing that you know how crazy you sound. So you're sort of the butt of the joke. I don't know if this makes any fucking sense, but I think it does. But that was the earliest, that's where it got started. And then the first time I used it was about a year later. The first time I used the closest, what it was back then to what it is now. That didn't make any sense either. 1/12/15. So my first real show was like a year later. Because I dropped out a few times. I would do 4 or 5 open mics, and I'd be like, fuck this. Wouldn't do it for a couple months, then I'd come back, do a few more, and then drop it again for a couple months. And then I went to Greg Dean's class just for some discipline and just to get a little more wisdom. And knowing that, a lot of people don't think comedy classes are good, but they're good for some stuff. Just basics, just with the handling of the microphone and certain other things, certain other just fundamentals that it seems like people that just do open mics. I mean, I've seen people doing open mics. They've been 4 years and they still don't know how to put the microphone back for the next comic when they're done. Some don't even put it in the fucking stand. They just stand there with it in their hand and hand it to the comic when they come out. No. What you're supposed to do, when you're done with your set, you put that mic back in the stand and have the microphone sitting right there all by itself like it was when you came up for it. That's how it's supposed to be done. Now, if you go to a class, you're going to learn, well, a decent class like Greg Dean, you're going to learn that's not how you do it. You want to look like a professional, you want to be tight, you want to do it right. This is how you do it. So like I said, there's people that don't do classes, still, they just do open mics, and they still don't even put the fundamentals together after all this time of doing open mics, 4 or 5 times a week, and still don't have any fucking jokes. Whatever, at least they're having fun. But that's my big thing is watching the fundamental stuff is what I'm always keen on when I'm watching comics or any comic, whether they're, a Slayer or somebody I've never seen before. I always watch that. Because that's one of the biggest fears, going out and go to take the microphone out of the thing, out of the stand, and you have to learn, because I did it once, but you learn to kind of set it, off to the side. Don't put your face right in front of it when you pull it out, because you could go boom and throw it, bang it right into your fucking chin. Did it once. I think it was my 3rd open mic at Ha Ha in North Hollywood. Got up there, thunk, oh, motherfucker. And then you're fucked after that. Unless you're one of those goofy fuckers they can take that and make it more funny, like a William Montgomery on Kill Tony. Or a lot of people could make it funny, but when the people that are going to make that funny usually aren't going to make that mistake anymore of banging themselves in the face with the shit. They already know because they've been doing it a bunch of times. So when you see that, or you do it yourself, and that's a big fear. Like, oh, fuck. It just ruins your whole... So that's part of the practice. So if I see somebody that doesn't really have any jokes, but they're still... that you can catch, they have something there, but maybe not the greatest jokes or whatever, but the way they handle the microphone and the way they say hello and have a joke right away, and at the end, mentioning taking care of your bartender and servers, and have a joke for the end, have a joke, not a closing, have a closing bit, and then as you say goodbye, somehow kind of have a punchline in there, and you see that stuff, you're like, oh. It's okay. I mean, 5 minutes, that was, But I saw the work. I saw the fundamentals, the way they handle the microphone, very professional. And somebody can get up there and do really well and just fucking boom, boom, have some really good jokes. But if they're all sloppy with the microphone and they don't put it back and they don't put it back where it's supposed to go at the end. You enjoying the garbage trucks outside in the alley? Just more of what I have to deal with trying to do voiceover shit. Happy Wednesday. So, anyway, that's where my closing bit basically got started and was one of my first good joke for the stage. And one of the big reasons, like they tell you, it's about you. It's a personal happening. It's something that actually happened to you. Instead of keep your shit personal, talk about what you know. Because that's another reason where people bomb or don't do well when they're trying, because they're maybe trying to get some point across. And I did that for a while. There was a time when I was like, I don't care about them laughing. I don't care. I want them to think. I want to make them leave and going, oh, I got to look that up. And that was kind of stupid. And then that's when I realized, wait, stop, don't do that. It's about laughs. You can get the stuff you want to say in there as laughs. Wake up. And that was a little growth spurt. It's like, keep it goofy. The goofier I am, the goofier I act, and not, real goofy, but kind of like how I said, I popped onto the stage last night on sort of an accident, but it still worked out. Like I was surfing. But that kind of shit always works. If I just come out, it's... But I have to have that little energy, that little slight goofiness. So, I don't know where I was going with that. Vibe. It was nice to hear that. I enjoyed the vibe a couple times. So, we're locked in on the Goofy Man. But not too much. But not too little. Should we move on to the Wednesday radio story? I think so. I screwed up the last one of the stories when I talked about the Randy Rhoads thing. One of the other radio stories from, I don't know if it was last week or the week before. I can't remember. But I got confused to where I thought that when Randy left WIOD in 1994 or 3, it was 4. I said it wrong to where that's how I got my job there because things got shifted around when that wasn't actually the case. It was a little bit later when one of the other producers left for the morning show for Rick and Suds. And Marvin left. And then the producers, some of them moved up. So one of the people that was a part-time or overnighter got a full-time gig. And he happened to come from the same school I was. So that's how we got I don't know if you're new, the radio school I went to, come to find out that in Florida, a lot of the producers for WIOD, the shows on WIOD in Miami, were from my school. And that's how I got my gig. One guy left, everybody kind of moved up. There was an open slot for part-time overnight. You want it? Sure, because I'd become a fan of WIOD in school from my buddy that one of my classmates who turned me on to the station, which I didn't like at first because I had it in my head that the big guy, Neil Rogers, was Rush Limbaugh-like from shitty media shit that I would read in the paper. Come to find out, no, he's the fucking opposite. But I also didn't like him because one of the first times I heard WIOD, he played a parody song that was trashing my favorite radio show, The Ron Ron Show. I was like, fuck this guy. But then my buddy turned me on, and I started to love IOD. So when Randy Rhoads left in 1994, with the whole thing with Phil Hendry, because she wanted to be on in the afternoon and it wasn't working out, they wanted to put her back at night. She said, fuck you. Phil, because they were like, Phil needs to be on in the afternoon, it works better. And people want you back at night because you're the goddess of the night. She didn't want to do it. So she left. And then a couple months later was when Marvin left. But when Randy left, they replaced her at night from, 8 to 11? With a local Miami comedian named Chris Baker. And Neil used to rip Chris Baker. And nobody seemed to like the show, Chris Baker's show. And this is before I worked there. This is when we were in class, we're in school, radio school, Miami Lakes Tech. Well, at the school, we would get the radio and records, the R&R magazines, which is kind of like Bloomberg or whatever. It gives you all information about radio shit. I think it was a weekly thing. And in the back, there were on the beach ads. In radio, that means you don't have a gig, you're on the beach. So people would have ads in there looking for work. Well, like I said, Neil would rip Chris Baker all the time. Nobody seemed to care for Baker. Me and my buddy didn't like him. We'd listen to him, just go, what? How does this guy have a show? No offense, Chris, because he got better and better. And I don't know who would say that I'm better than him? Me. I'm just kidding. But now he's been doing radio. Last I knew, a long time ago, he was doing radio in, is it Cleveland or? Anyway. But it wasn't, maybe it was funnier than I thought at the time, that I realized at the time. I don't know. But it certainly wasn't funny to a lot of people. And his producer was Adam, who went on to, he's the one that got bumped up when Marvin left, and he took over the producer job for Rick and Suds. And when that happened also, I think they got rid of Baker. But that was later. That was later down. Before this, that was after this story, though. So the R&R comes out. We're looking at it, me and my buddy. And looking, I go, dude, look at this. Look at this ad. And it said, what did it say? Comedian in Miami currently doing nights on Big Talker. Looking for a new gig or looking for something like that. I can't remember exactly. This was 1994. And we're like, what the fuck? Wait a minute, that's Chris Baker, isn't it? And he and I are like, what the hell's going on? Does Chris Baker really have an ad? So, me being the goofball, and the idea of, let's do something with this. So I said, I should call Neil. And my buddy's like, yeah, you should call Neil. That would be so funny if you fucking called Neil and told him on the air about this. So we're at school. I go into one of the rooms that has a phone, but it's not used very much. But there is a phone in there that you can use. One of the studios. So I go in there and I call IOD. Don't think I'm getting on the air, but sitting there waiting on hold and nervous as shit. I've got the R&R in front of me. And next thing you know, boom, Miami Lakes, hello. Hey, Neil. That's what he says. Hey, Neil. And then I said, I was looking through the R&R, and then again, And then I read him an ad. The ad. I read him the ad, and he's like, wow, really? And he was asking George, his producer, to see if he could find it in the building there, but I don't know if it was there yet, or I don't know. He didn't say anything about it, but he goes, yeah, well, I hope he does get a new gig, because listen, sir, you have to understand something. Now, Tom Hopkins was the morning news guy, and he did this cool little hour from 5 to 6 a.m. that I would board up. He would just sit in the newsroom smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee, and mostly read out of the paper and just have a little commentary. It was fucking great. What was it? First News with Tom Hopkins, I think. And he's a funny fucker. But he was on at 5 a.m. to 6, and then Rick and Suds at 6. So Neil goes, listen, sir, you have to understand something. They don't give a shit what happens after 8 p.m. From 8 p.m. to 6 a.m., they don't give a shit what happens on this station. Oh, 5. Sorry, Tom. It was funny. And he thanked me for the information, and then went on to, shit on Chris Baker a bit, and telling him it was Neil. And then I hung up the phone going, holy shit, I just talked to Neil Rogers for the first time. It's kind of similar to, when you at a comedy club that you've never been, that's a big club and you've never been there before, and you come off and say, wow, I just did that. I was just actually on the stage there. Holy shit. Never thought that would happen. So then, Chris, Adam hears about it, and of course tells Chris. And Chris says something. I think Chris said something a couple nights later on a show, or maybe it was that night or whatever. And my buddy calls me from home and says he's listening to Chris Baker, and he mentioned something. And I was like, oh, should I call him? Should I call him and ask him, hey, is this your ad? He goes, yeah. And I believe he recorded it from his house, on his, the cassettes and the dual cassette player thing. So I call Baker. Yeah, Chris, I've got an R&R magazine here, and I was just wondering if this was yours, because it sounds like you. It says, comedian currently doing nights on Big Talker in Miami seeks new gig, or whatever it was. I'm like, it kind of sounds like you, so I was just wondering, is this you? Are you leaving? Are you trying to leave? He said, sir, what are you talking about? And he's flipping out. He's like, what are you talking about? You're a liar and a loser. And he's calling me all these fucking names. I'm like, dude, I'm not lying. I have the R&R right in front. I'm reading it. And then Adam comes on the air and he goes, dude, I have the R&R right now. I don't see anything. And I was like, well, maybe you're looking at the wrong one. I go, how about this is the week? Now, remember, this is before I worked there. I don't know these people yet. And I wasn't a chronic like most people would be. I was just a fan, and hey, look at this. And I was trying to get into radio anyway and get into the game and see how it works, and all doing what seemed like the pros were doing. Helping with entertainment, helping with stories, being a journalist. Hey, this is what I see. Hey, what do you think? Material for these people that I like to hear babble. Hey, you're a liar, sir. You're a loser. You're like Adam again. He goes, nope, that's the one I'm looking at. I don't see what you're saying. You're a liar, dude. And then Chris calls me a liar again, blah, blah, they hang up. Like, what a fucking, they're so full of shit. I was like, oh, man. I'm like, okay, I get it. They're trying to save face. But I wonder who did this. And, of course, some people started thinking, was it you? No, I had nothing to do with it. I've never put anything in R&R. So then, I guess I got my gig there, I don't know, 4 or 5 months later, I think. Maybe shorter. A few months later, I was working there. And it was November of 94. Or October or November of 94 was when I started. I think it was somewhere around 96. And we were somewhere, like an after something, and it was alcohol. It was back when I was drinking. And I'd had a few drinks, and Adam was standing there, and I went, dude, might have been a Christmas party or something. I went, dude, I've always wanted to tell you this. Just to see the expression on your face. I go, remember a couple of years ago, remember when you were producing for Chris Baker? And he goes, yeah. And I go, remember when somebody called in and asking Chris if he had an ad in the R&R about a gig or whatever? And he goes, yeah, why? And I go, that was me, dude. The look on his face, his jaw dropped. He started fucking laughing. Turns out he couldn't stand working for Baker. He's like, dude, yeah, it was right. Of course. And I go, so when, on the air, when you said you had the same issue of R&R that I was talking about, and you said that it wasn't there, and he goes, of course it was there. I couldn't say that. It's like, I knew it, you motherfucker. And he goes, oh, man, thank you for telling me, because I always wondered what the fuck that was. And, of course, what was his next question? You didn't put the ad in there, did you? No! I had nothing to do with it. I was just flipping through. Actually, I think how I found it was I was looking through the ads, because right there where there were ads for looking for work, it was right next to the ones where people, where there were gigs. And that's what I was looking at, because I was wanting to get the fuck out of school, put a tape together and try to go find an overnight gig somewhere in a rock station in a small market. That was the plan. So I was always looking through the R&R. And that's when I saw the thing. I was like, what the fuck? That sounds like Chris Baker. Chris, you hear my lips pop there? It was trippy. And very funny. I can still see the look on Adam's face. Dude! And you know what happened after that? I got a bit more respect from that bastard. So how it works round here. It's 610 WIOD. Hi, this is Sonny Fox. I listen to Neil Rogers because I can hear the word asshole. That's the first thing I heard on WIOD after a commercial break. And then the Ron and Ron bit. Ron and Ron, they just aren't that funny. And something tells me they took lessons from Sonny. Ron and Ron, boy, they suck. Ron and Ron. I was fucking pissed. Like, how dare you? Ron and Ron are the funniest fucking thing. That's what I thought at the time, and they were. They were fucking great. And 3 years later, I was on that show. Started out as Bruce Wayne for my nickname, and then I think Bennington called me that 2 or 3 times in the first show with them. And by the second or third hour, I was Batman. I was like, fuck that. Like, fuck Bruce Wayne. This is Batman. I was like, oh, I got the coolest nickname of anybody on the show. And the one that fits. I am Batman. So now you know. It's not just the Waning Interest podcast. I should have a little bat logo in there somewhere. Just like faded because, something that used to be. And, looking at my life, if you're going to, everybody's a hero. Everybody's Neo. We're all one. Doesn't matter if you have a vagina, penis, or both. We're all Neo. Everybody's the hero. So you're looking at my hero stuff. I'm going to call myself a hero. I'm like, what was I going to say? The Dark Knight thing with the Batman. Not the hero they want. I'm the hero they need. Remember how Batman kind of looked like the bad guy? He took the fall. It's what I've always done, seemingly. Not always meaning it. It just happens. Like, I didn't do that. I had nothing to do with it. I'm not the hero you want. I'm the hero you need. I'm Batman. But I hope when they do the Matt Reeves Batman stuff that's coming, the new trilogy and all that, I hope they keep the voice thing that Ben Affleck had as Batman. It's so much better than making up a voice and so much more smart and more modern. It's a great idea. I love that part of fucking Batman versus Superman when they were doing that, when Jeremy Irons was testing it, the voice modulator. I fucking love that part of it. There's a lot of things that Zack Snyder fucking just nailed. Especially with Batman shit. And, of course, Affleck helping, but as a whole, no. There's some silly shit that I've gotten rid of. Don't need to see Martha and Thomas Wayne die again. There's the whole thing. Didn't need that shit. I mean, we learned we don't need that origin story anymore with fucking Spider-Man Far From Homecoming. So it's a home. They got home, the word home in both Spider-Man titles and the new ones, in the John Watts directed movies with Tom Holland. It's Homecoming and then Far From Home. I wonder what Spider-Man 3 is going to be. Home slice. Home skillet. Right? Does that work? Spider-Man home slice. Damn, son, what's up with those tight pants? I can tell what religion you are. Seeing you crawling up that wall, getting under the hood. I see his butt. I don't know. Imagine, though, that would be fun. If anybody ever make a GIF like that, like a little thing where Spider-Man, one of them, like maybe from the, if you're one of these people, because I'm not, it does the video shit. Use the Spider-Man, like a little thing from that 70s TV series with Nicholas Hammond, with him crawling up, and then just have this, digitally put in this shit fall coming out of his ass just continually as he's crawling up the wall. That's funny. Superheroes piss and shit too, man. Keeps him grounded. Although I don't know about Captain Marvel. All that power, I think with that amount of power, you would tend to wonder if she doesn't have to do that shit anymore. She doesn't have to go to the toilet ever again. Maybe to look in the mirror and go, oh, yes, I am pretty. But I would think somebody with that much power, they can go into space, they can fucking fly, they can blow up fucking ships by just flying through them, not being in something else. You got that much. I would hope that you would make that power to where you don't have to visit the fucking can anymore. I think a lot of people would choose that. You get into your late 30s and you get into your 40s and you hear your friends all the time going, you know what I can't stand doing anymore? Shitting. I'm so tired of going to the goddamn bathroom. You know how many times you've done it by that age? Holy shit. Oh, I did not mean that. Either way, watch Redacted tonight and The Jimmy Dore Show. Kim Iverson, Kyle Kalinske, Abby Martin, and The Corbett Report. Look for yourself. I'm just here to be a fun babbling lecturer. And remember, we're all Neo, a.k.a. One. Sorry, ran long. Had to bump comedian Louis J. Gomez. Thanks, Gary. You know what? Daddy loves you. looking at me, man?